How's the injury situation to start with, please, Sean?
Mine, I've got sciatica. It's really killing me, which is true. No, the players, I think Stephen and Johan will be touch and go for the weekend. Both making forms of progress, but I'm not sure whether they'll make it.
That's Stephen.
No, Stephen and Johan, yeah.
Ward?
Oh, Wood is doing well. He's not there yet, but he's back on the grass working with the physios. He's just joining the warm-ups with the main first-team group and then going off and working on his own at the minute while he regains kind of full fitness, if you like. But there will be a training period needed then, of course, as well, with the group.
And Nick Pope still progressing well?
Yeah, going well. Pope is just on the crossover, really, from working with Billy as an individual and then joining in some of the teamwork and small-sided football and that side of things. So he's just on the crossover at the moment.
Are you going to end up with a bit of a dilemma when you've got three fully fit?
I'm sure we will at some point. Yeah, I mean, they're all good goalkeepers. I think we've got a good group. I've mentioned it many, many times. But that's part and parcel of the job, and we want everyone fit, that's for sure, because we've been struggling with that all season, really, to have a completely fit group. So we do want them fit, and then we'll take on the challenge what comes next.
Because, of course, it'll get to January and people will start speculating about whether one...
That's okay. It's not the first time that's happened at this club. Speculation, believe it or not.
Mike Rigg, the new technical director, was talking the other day saying that when it comes to January, you've got to expect the unexpected. Are you agreeing with that? Do you feel that you've got to have...
Well, I think you've got to be alive to the market, and we've had a few situations down the years that I've been here that have come our way. Out the blue and ones that we've kept our ear to the ground and heard a few whispers on that have ended up being a situation which we could affect. So I think you have to plan, but you also have to be ready for the way the market shifts. If there is a shift, I mean, I'm not sure. Everyone knows it's a very tough market anyway, but particularly in January. So if there is a shift in the market, then we have to be at least placed to get what we think we can.
Do you think you might do some business this time around?
We'll have to wait and see. There's no guarantees. It's often it's not just about finance. It's about the availability of players and situations and clubs that are willing to trade, obviously, and sell.
Obviously, after the win at the weekend, has there been a different feeling in training, of course, this week?
Well, I think the main thing is it just kind of settles the thoughts down outside of the group. It's hard when you're on a tough run. I mean, there's been a number of them this season, as we know. Teams have had either no wins or minimal in a long period. I think Watford are the latest. I'm not sure how many they've had, but I think they've had one maybe in 11 or 12 or something like that. It's tough. So we get a win and it just gives them that reminder of, that winning feeling. We do go into two tough games now, of course. They're all tough, but particularly I think when you go away to the likes of Tottenham and Arsenal. But that bit more freedom to go and play, I think, at them sort of places.
Do you feel as if you're getting further towards that sort of gritty, determined sort of performance that you've been looking for?
I think there's been signs of it recently. Three out the last four, I thought we were unlucky not to get something against Newcastle. We didn't perform against Palace. We did against Liverpool, but they're a good side, as we know. And then we nicked a win against Brighton, and we had to fight for everything. And the last 10 minutes, especially, because it gets that little bit of nervousness comes into the game. But we've got to find ways of winning. We know that anyway. We've always had to do that. And we have to continue to do that. We have to continue as a side. We have to continue with the right mentality. The physicality is stronger again. I think that's coming back to where we want to be. And the tempo of the side and the energy of the side. And so all of them things, they all make a difference. But inevitably, it's about doing the right things in both boxes. And I think that's the balance we haven't found as freely this season. But there's signs of it coming back.
How much more are you going to have to step things up then to get a result at Spurs?
I think we know they're a good side. A lot of these sides now, there is a big gap, I think, for the first time, or the most evident gap for the first time this season, with the sort of recognised six, if you like. And I think Tottenham are having a fine start to the season. They've had a great result the other night. I really like the way they go about the business. I think the manager, he plays direct football, but in a passing style. I think if they can get A to B quickly, they do. They're effective within that. The tempo of how they play. I don't think, I like the fact I don't think they keep the ball for the sake of it. I think they keep the ball trying to penetrate, and I think that makes them a very effective side with some very good players. On the other hand, we go down there with a bit more freedom. It's the expectation changes, against last week against Brighton, when it's really heavy expectation, you've got to get a result. It changes, especially from the outside when you're going down to places like Tottenham. That gives us that little edge of freedom to take the game on. and hopefully, deliver a very good performance, because we'll need to deliver a very good performance against sides like that.
And just from a watcher's perspective, I mean, just how big a result was that for an English side to go to Barcelona and get a draw?
No, I thought a very good result, and the way they went about it, I thought they were brave. I thought they pressed the lines, they got in the passing lanes, they squeezed the pitch and shortened the pitch as much as they could, and I thought they were brave in doing so. And like I say, I think there was a bit of noise at the beginning of the season about they hadn't brought any players in. I wasn't so sure about that. I was looking at the players they've got and thought there's a pretty handy group there, and I think they're showing that so far this season.
When you say about expectation changes going to Tottenham, was that maybe the opposite way around at the start of the season to a certain extent, in terms of what you achieved last time and maybe what people...
I think for certain games, I don't think against the big sides, because it's not about you all the time, it's about the stats. The stats show that it's very difficult to go to these places for anyone outside of the top six, really. It is difficult. But I think other parts of the season, other teams we've played, then maybe the expectation has shifted, before the season, and we were, sort of in a different thinking, I think, for most people. But not so much against the sort of big six clubs. I think they're always a tough task home and away. So I think that's just the nature of being us and other teams, not just us in the Premier League.
Has it shifted again now, do you think? Is it?
Well, it's gone the other way now, I think. I think people have looked and... I mean, there's a bit more noise of kind of that, well, where did you think Burnley really were in the bigger picture of it, and I mean, I'm stuck in the middle of it in the sense that you don't want to be, as a manager, I think we've earned the right at times to not be considered so much underdogs. But here we are again being considered that, because we've had a tough start, many different reasons have been spoken about. And you're going down to Tottenham and then Arsenal, and people do put you, obviously you go back into that underdog category. So I think that's just the way it is.
Because historically you might have quite liked the underdog tag and us against the world sort of thing. Does it rankle now?
I think people have tagged us that with no choice. I don't know whether we like it or not. The fact is, it's been there. Some with good reasons, some maybe not so. I don't think it matters to me. I think it forms an opinion from the outside. That's what it does, and the noise changes from outside. But for me, it's working with a group I know are capable. And it's the main thing for me is delivering performances. And I've mentioned over the last few weeks we're kind of working to get back to what we are and what we can be. Still trying to add a next layer and improve. But sometimes you've got to get back to the basic principles of what you stand for. And we're kind of getting back there. And that gives you a foothold in a game and a foothold for performances. Once you get that, then you're looking for the players to have that bit of freedom and go and show what they can do and express themselves. And then that's when a good, solid performance turns into a very good performance, when them players do that. They work from a base position, but they're allowed to express themselves and go and take the game on. And that's what we hope to find.
And in terms of what goes on down on the training pitches now as well, I know it's not the best list injury-wise in the world, but it's a lot better than it has been recently. Is that down there as well? Yeah,
I think so. I think there's more demand in the group, when they get themselves together. We made some changes, and I think that gives people a nudge again. We have been unfortunate with injuries, but I'm not going to cry that in. I've been here 6 years, and our injury record's been superb. We've had a few down the years of real serious ones, but the little stuff, we haven't really had that many bad periods. This season is probably the worst we've had for that. So, like I say, I'm not going to, overthink that. But there has been a lot more games, a lot more demand, etc., etc. So that has to be put into balance as well.
And just finally, for my apologies if you've covered this over the last couple of weeks, how's John Walters doing? Where's he?
Yeah, good, John. He's longer term, obviously. He had a bad Achilles injury, not a complete rupture or anything, but a serious one. So he's just getting back now into his early part of his recovery. I mean, he's in good spirits considering. It's a tough one to take, a tough injury to take, but he's good around the group and getting back to fitness slowly but surely.
Good. And I know that Ben Gibson was on your bench a couple of weeks ago. I'm just wondering, in terms of him coming in, he had the hernia problems and everything. Is he still managing to settle in?
Yeah, I think it's been really tough for Ben, because he's come in, he's a great pro, he's got real appetite for it, real desire, that's for sure, wants to be playing. But he has found it tough to get just game time in, for the injury reasons that he's had. But he's great around the group. He's a real solid pro, that's for sure. So he's just got to wait his time, like many have done before. And then when you get your chance, you've got to play well and stay there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, did you have a bit of a wry smile at that Virgil van Dijk tackle?
Let's not, eh?
Sorry.
I think, no, it's fine. I said what I said. I didn't, there was no offence meant. Excuse me, I was asked the questions. I covered it as I saw fit. That doesn't mean what goes on in the future is any different. That's, up to them to decide. Tackles are part of the game. That was my point, really. Tackles are part of the game. And if they're well-timed tackles and good tackles, I don't see any noise about it. If they're not, that's a different thing.
The sliding tackles, they are a...
Well, like I say, every manager's got a different view. I have no problem. I just have to give my view.
Yeah, and just on the Raheem Sterling, which has obviously been a big talking point this week, do you feel that kind of racism is coming back into the game?
Well, I've witnessed it. That moment obviously has been, really spoken about by so many. I don't think it needs my opinion. We know that it needs to be out of the game. We know that. I haven't witnessed too much myself. So long may that continue, of course. Hopefully it is something that's brought it to light and does help to make it go away completely. I mean, I don't know whether we can do that, but I certainly think it's another step in the right direction to remind people of the behaviour.
And if one of your players was targeted, would you encourage them to, walk up a pitch, or what would you encourage?
I don't think there's a right and a wrong to all of that. I think it's each situation, each player. If it is a player, that has to deal with that accordingly. I don't think there's a perfect scenario. I think a balanced view of the situation has been given. I think it's highlighted that there still is things that need to change. I think that's the biggest thing. But I don't think you can put yourself in a position at one moment in time when that happens, particularly if it's a player. It could be different. Every player would react differently, I think.
Yeah, cameras off, please.